Okay, hello, welcome to this video on quadratics, and this is one form of the quadratics. I actually did this lesson with my students a while ago, but I didn't have a battery in the camera, so I'm just reshooting this fairly quickly. So it's going to be brief, but follow along real quick. So this is one form of the quadratic. We did the other form, which was the turning point form. That's in a previous video, and I've got one more to do as well. I'll do that later today. This one is commonly called the intercept form because from these parts of it, I can get the intercepts, the x-intercepts of the graph by just reading it straight on out. The A number out front, just like our previous one and the next one, the A number out front, that's the one that changes the shape of it. So if it's positive, then we're talking the graph's going to be this way. If it's bigger than 1, then we're looking at a steeper one. If it's less than 1, but still greater than 0, we're flattening it out. When we go to a negative 1, it turns it over. And the same thing happens, maybe this is negative 1, and then it gets steeper and steeper as we're going down. We've got one here with a -2 in there, so we'll work on that in a minute. With this idea here, all of these parts, the A, the x minus b, and the x minus c, they're all multiplied together. Now the null factor rule, or the null factor law, says that if two things are multiplied together, then either one or the other one must be 0. Now they both might be 0, but let's not worry about that. If A is equal to 0, then A times anything is 0. And if B is equal to 0, then 0 times anything is 0. So that's why it works. But why is that important here? Well, we're going to look and see, when does this part here equal 0? Because if that equals 0, the whole thing equals 0, and therefore y is equal to 0. And when y is equal to 0, we're talking about your x-intercept. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's run through an example here and see. So what I want to do is I want to say, well, this part here, x plus 2, how can I make that equal to 0? Well, just do a little calculation here. X plus 2, if that equals 0, well, x is going to equal -2. So that's going to give me the point. Remember, x and y, -2, 0. So -2, 0 is a point on this graph, and it's also giving me an x-intercept. So I'll put -2 just here. Now in a similar way, let's do this part. Just do the same. X minus 3 equals 0. Therefore, x equals 3. Move it over the other side. That gives me the point 3, 0. Another x-intercept. So I'm going to have this point here at 3. So already I've got two pieces of information, and remember that my parabola, which is the graph, quadratic is the equation, my parabola is either going to look something like that, if it's a positive, happy, smiley graph with a minimum point, or it's going to look like that, if it's a frowny face one, with a maximum point. Because the value out here is 1 and is positive, I'm going to be in this situation here. When I have a negative out front, I'm going to be here. So this one is going to be a positive one. So already I know that it's going to look something like this going through these 2 points. Now there's another piece of information I can get out of here, and that is if I multiply together that one, and that one, that will give me the y-intercept. And the reason is, what I'm really doing is I'm saying let x equal 0, let x equal 0, so this bracket just becomes -3, this bracket just becomes 2, multiply those three numbers together, I get -6, meaning that somewhere down here is where it's going to cross over. Now there's even more information we can get than that, because the line of symmetry. The line of symmetry for any quadratic is that line that goes right down the middle and right through the turning point, because the left and the right are exactly the same. So, if that's the case, then halfway between -2 and 3 is going to be +1/2. Add the two together, divide by 2. So that means my line of symmetry is going to be about there, at +1/2. So I know that this side and this side have got to be the same. It's got to go through these 2 points and cross through there. Now, because the line of symmetry is slightly to the right-hand side, the turning point must be a little bit lower than that -6. I don't know what it's going to be at, but a little bit lower. So it's got to come down here, turn on that line of x equals 1/2, and back up. See how I go drawing it. Here we go. Oops. What do we got? Here we go. I'll try and do a bit of a sketch. It's only a sketch. Something like that. It'll come down a little bit lower here, a little bit lower, and then back up. And I'm going to cheat a little bit and move 3 over just a smidge. So this graph here is going to look like this. Intercept form. Halfway between those gets me the line of symmetry. Multiply all the numbers, gets me the x-intercept. Oh, sorry, y-intercept. Easy. Let's do this one real quick, let's move on. So, that's going to give me -2. Here we go. -2 I'm going to put there. That's going to give me +1. There we go. Halfway between these two, add them together, divide by 2, that's going to be -1/2. So here at -1/2 is going to be my line of symmetry. -1 times 2 times 1. That's going to give me +2. So +2, I'm going to put it there. That's going to be my y-intercept. It's a negative graph, so I'm going to be like this. That makes sense. It's going to come up here. It's going to turn on that line, back down through that one. Again, let's see how I go with drawing this. So I reckon we can do this. We can do this. Make a turn here, there we go. And down, and then there we go. Done, sorted, easy. Remember, you've got a class pad, check these in class pad. Throw it in, see what it comes up like. This one here, very quick here, very quick. So, -1, 3, -2. This shape, but steeper. -2 times 1 times -3 is +6. So up here somewhere is going to be 6. Now my scaling of my graph's not great because I think that this is going to have to go quite a way up before it comes down. Let me see. I reckon we'd do this. It'd have to go through there, it'll go up here, and then turn somewhere up there, and then come back down like that. Put it in your calculator, have a look, see what we're right. This one, now this is the next style I'm going to do, but sometimes here you'll be able to see you can factorise. Quick check on factorising. This is x squared. The only way of getting that is x and x. It's the only way you can get x squared. Multiply 2 x's together. -4 here, -4. It can be 1 and 4 or 2 and 2, and it can be plus and minus or minus and plus. Now here, it has to be a plus and a minus. I didn't put plus or minus because the same number, swap it over, it doesn't make any difference. Now remember, we put these together, you've got to get -3 out of it. So for that reason, I'm going to take the top line there, the minus and the plus. So I'm going to take yes, that's right. I'm going to take a +1 and a -4. Now let's check that we've got this right. What do we got? X squared, yes. -4x plus 1x, yes. -4, yes. I know I'm good. So that means that this one here really just falls out to x plus 1, x -4. And aren't we now back in this style? We can easily do this. That's going to be -4, so it's going to cross there. This is going to be at -1, we're there. This is going to be at 4, we're there. Halfway between, add them together is 3. Divide by 2 is 1.5. There's 1.5 or 3 on 2. So the graph has got to look something like that. Again, it's my sketch. I'll cheat a little bit. There we go. Hopefully this one's helped. This is one of the forms of a quadratic. You've got to be competent with all the different forms and be able to factorise, get into a form if you need to. Hope this video has helped. Catch you later.